Welcome to another episode of the Retroford Fitting Guide. This week we're talking about Mark 1 Cortina front struts. Now, typically your Mark 1 Cortina front strut would have had what's called a wet insert. Now this is an old insert we've pulled out of a strut here, and as you can see, the inside of the strut body would have had oil in it and would have been a wet insert, so this is surrounded by oil. And the only real option when these fail and start to leak, or even if you want to upgrade them to an adjustable one such as the ones we've got in front of us, which I'm going to run through in a minute, was to go for what's called a dry insert. So you undo this, tip it up, tip all the oil out of it, give it a clean inside with some brake cleaner, and then you would put a dry insert in it. Now this one here is a genuine Ford dry insert that if you were to go into a Ford dealership back in the 60s, you could have bought one of these over the counter, which would have been the easiest and quickest way to get your car through an MOT so that the shock absorber wasn't leaking. So fast forward several decades, and the Mark 1 Cortina struts that are available, after looking at probably maybe I've got 10, 20, 30 struts over there that we've gone through and checked the internal dimensions, what we found is that there isn't just the two sizes that we originally thought there was, which was a standard leg and a lotus leg. There appears to be what we've now called a long leg and a short leg. And if I drop a tape measure inside these, although from the outside they look identical and the heights are the same, the internal dimensions are different. So what was available for the struts was a long one from Spax. And if you were to put a long one in what we're calling a short body, then the nut here that you put on the top would have very little thread engagement. So you might only get sort of 2 threads on there, which is pretty dangerous. When this is screwed in, you shouldn't be able to see any of those threads. So that should have full thread engagement. And what we found that there's approximately 10 millimeters different between the struts. And again, you cannot tell the difference between them, what insert should be in which, until you've got it apart. And the way you check these is to drop a tape measure in like this, and that'll give you a dimension there. Now this is what we're calling a long strut. That should be a 424 millimeters, so 424 millimeters. And then this one here should be a 415 millimeters. So yeah, sort of 9 millimeters different. Yeah. So we've been speaking with the engineering team at Spax, and they've manufactured us 2 different lengths of insert. So when you come to buy some of these, the only way to find out whether you've going to buy the right insert is to drop a tape measure in. So sadly, get it off the car, drop a tape measure in, and then when you go on our website, if you're looking for a standard Cortina one, I'm going to ignore the sort of Lotus one for a moment, I'll come back to that in a minute, but if you've got a standard disc brake strut on the front and you want to put a Spax insert in it, which are adjustable, I think 28 point adjustable if I remember rightly. So coming back to these, yeah, drop your tape measure down, and as I say, when you go on the website, there will be a drop down as to what length insert you want, which will be a long or a short. The dimensions will be on there, and then you can obviously reference this video as to which one you need. Now, just a quick one on the Lotus strut. I suspect there's not many cars out there with Lotus struts on, not even Lotuses. So even if you've got a GT, it wouldn't have had these with a spring platform lower, or indeed the strut body shorter. So this one here is 395 millimeters, so it's quite a bit shorter. So on the website, you'll get the option for those 2 as a clip down, and you'll get the option for that as a different product. So hopefully we've now got to the bottom of getting the right insert for your Mark 1 Cortina, and you haven't got one that's too short or too long for your strut body. So hopefully that clears that up for everybody, and we'll see you again soon.